Mr. Nobody by Roger Hargraves. Hello, meet Mr. Happy. Happy by name and happy by nature. And now I'm going to tell you a story. Actually, this story isn't about Mr. Happy. Well, not really. It's about somebody he met not very long ago. Last month, in fact. Mr. Happy went to tea with little Miss Sunshine. He thought about catching a bus to take him home. But as it was such a nice day, he thought again and decided to walk. And he was glad he did. Would you like to know why? I shan't tell you. Not yet, anyway. Mr. Happy was listening to himself when he walked along when he heard a noise. He stopped. There it was again, a sort of snipping noise. Suddenly, a drop of rain splashed on top of his head. That's odd, he thought to himself, looking up. There isn't a cloud in the sky. And then he couldn't believe his eyes. You never guess what Mr. Happy saw. There, sitting at the branch of the tree, was so he said it was, but what's it? I knew it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. You couldn't see him, and he was crying real big, fat, wet tears, which of course were splashed on top of Mr. Happy's head. Who? Mr. Happy managed to splutter. Are you? The person who saw was, but was it? Looked mournfully down him in a mournful, melancholy voice replied, Nobody. Nobody, gasped Mr. Happy. But everybody's somebody. The person who saw us wasn't said easily. Except me, he said, and he started to cry. More, real, big fat wet tears. Mr. Happy scratched his head and was getting quite red this time. Can you get down? He wondered. Possibly, replied Mr. Nobody, and he climbed down at the tree. Where have you come from? Asked Mr. Happy. Nowhere. Mr. Nobody sighed the sort of sigh that breaks your heart. I know I used to be somebody. Well, wait. I can't remember who. He sniffed. Oh, what? He sniffed. Oh, where? He sniffed. Oh, when? He sobbed. Mr. Happy couldn't help but stare. It isn't often you meet somebody you can see right through. I think, said Mr. Happy, that you had come better home with me. Why? Sobbed Mr. Nobody. Because, said Mr. Happy, we must do something about you. There's nothing you can do about a nobody. With the person who said it was, what was it? Of course there is, said Mr. Happy. Follow me. Eventually they reached Mr. Happy's house and went to his living room. Mr. Happy pointed to a chair. Sit yourself down, he said. It's really quite extraordinary seeing somebody who's nobody sitting in a chair. Mr. Happy sat down too and thought hard. The wizard, cried Mr. Happy. Of course. So the following morning, after no breakfast, Mr. Happy took Mr. Nobody to see the wizard. Ah, remarked the wizard after Mr. Happy had tried to explain. Ah, he said again, eyeing Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody just stood there, looking as glad as anyone could look. Just try to leave the corners of your mouth as if I will go. Go on. Well, that's how it has to go on. Mr. had nobody left. The wizard thought and thought some more. Care for a cup of tea? He inquired. Nobodies don't drink nothing. Replied Mr. Nobody. Nobodies don't drink anything, said the wizard, correcting him. That's right, agreed Mr. Nobody. Aha, cried the wizard. That's it. The wizard rushed over to his workbench and started to mix up lots of different colored liquids in a huge bottle. They bubbled and gurgled together, let off little puffs of white smoke. Bubble, bubble, gurgle, pop. Bubble, bubble, gurgle, pop. What color would you like to be? The wizard asked Mr. Nobody. Nobodies aren't colored, came the sad reply. You choose, said the wizard, pointing at Mr. Happy. Mr. Happy thought. Well, he said, I always really thought enjoy being yellow. Yellow it shall be, shouted the wizard, as he poured some liquid in the bottle. Ah, suddenly with one huge puff of white smoke, the liquid turned bright yellow. Bright yellow, oh. Right. And there's a drink that. Nobody's don't drink nothing, said Mr. Nobody. Exactly, shouted the wizard out of his voice. Nobody's don't drink nothing. Therefore, nobody's must drink something. Mr. Nobody took hold of the bottle and took a small sip. More, cried the wizard. Much more. Mr. Nobody shut his eyes and took a deep breath and swallowed all the little liquid. Mr. Happy the wizard watched the lady and what it would watch. Nothing happened. Told you so, said Mr. Nobody. And he sighed. Another one of these sighs that break your heart. But, wait a minute. Did their eyes just deceive them? Or they looked at Mr. Nobody's feet. They were turning some sort of, yes, yellow. Yes, decidedly yellow. Definitely yellow. Then Mr. Nobody's legs turned yellow. And his body, his arms, his nose, Mr. Happy shouted. What was his nose? They watched, they waited, watched. Nothing happened. Suddenly, Mr. Nobody sneezed. And immediately after he sneezed, with an enormous pop, a tissue pop, his nose turned yellow as well. Oh, I wish you'd been there to see Mr. Nobody's face. His mouth started turning down and started turning up. And up and up and up again. Well, chuckled Mr. Happy, I told you so. Everybody's a somebody. No boy, that Burroop is cat. Why does Mr. Nobody change from transparent into yellow? I have no idea what Benji's color is supposed to be in the next episode. Fink. Finks. No, Fink. Oh, pizza. Oogie Boogie is sick. I think it's some e-gas. I like it. I didn't use any liquid to make it become yellow and pink. Think it's good. You